No, I wouldn't know who was playing yesterday or on Saturday with the football, so no, I wouldn't follow it at all. I might be able to tell you 5 good football players off the top of my head, but that'd be about it. Yeah, obviously, I've ridden for Sir Alex a good couple of times now, where he has horses down at Ditchit. You know, he's an amazing man. He'd be a man of sort of few words if you were sat next to him. So, you know, what he does say is sense, and everyone sort of takes it in. And I've met him sort of away from the track as well. I went up to Old Trafford with Paul one day, and we went up to watch a game against PSG, I think. I couldn't tell you anything about football. All I know is that we got beat. But you know, it was just it was nice to be in there and watch such a good game of football. You know, I like watching any professional sport at a good standard, whatever it is. I don't mind. So I'm not a football fan, but I did enjoy going up there and watching the game and seeing Sir Alex. And yeah, it was. Yeah, he's obviously an amazing man, isn't he? And they're full of plenty of good stories anyway. Who's my best friend in the way? Actually, no, I wouldn't have a best friend in there. I'll get on with everyone. There wouldn't be a single person in there that I dislike. So yeah, no, look, we're all fairly, we all get on fairly well, and you know, there wouldn't be any real arguments. You know, there might be the odd, you cut me up here or you cut me up there, but everyone takes it well and apologises. And at the end of the day, I don't know what it's like on the flat, but all the jumps lads are out there to sort of look after each other as well. No one wants to see anyone else hurt, so or see anyone else get days or bans, because you know, when we're banned, we can't ride, so we don't earn any money. So I think we're all there to look after each other. That's very different, isn't it? You know, I think Leighton Aspel's only sort of 3 years younger than my dad. So yeah, look, it's good fun. All the young lads show the older lads loads of respect. There's no one in there that sort of really struts their stuff around and thinks they're better than anyone else. They quickly get put back in their box, and you know, riding against sort of jockeys like Richard Johnson every day and whatnot, they raise the bar. You know, they're still improving now. You know, Dickie, I know he's been champion jockey for the sort of last 4 or 5 years, but you know, he wouldn't let anyone walk all over him, and you know, they've raised the bar that high that you've got to, you know, be as good as them to get the rides. I'd say my favourite jockey was Ruby Walsh, partly because I didn't live very far from Ditchit, and you know, Big Bucks, KAUTO, Masterminded, they were the sort of the horses that won in all the big races when I was growing up, and I suppose that was huge inspiration for me, watching you know, KAUTO win his 5th King George and a couple Gold Cups, DENMAN. I went to school with the Barber family, so that was. I suppose that was a huge influence to sort of why I sort of got into it. And when I was 9, I started working for Ron Hodges, mucking out down at his yard down there, and he actually bought half my first racing pony when I was 9 with my mum and dad, and that sort of really helped me get into the sport and sort of get the bug for it, really. I think James Davis is very good. I don't think he gets enough good chances. He's a great horseman. He's very tight, and you know, if the horse is good enough, he'll win on it every time. I think he's very underrated. I like Wincanton, Exeter, and I like going to Cheltenham. I get envious of their prize money. You know, you look at Royal Ascot or whatever, and or you know, the big meetings, and you see loads and loads of prize money. But you know, I suppose the values in the bloodstock with their sort of horses, isn't it? So that's probably why it is. But you know, if I could do 8 stone, I'd probably ride on the flat tomorrow. But you know, it's probably not all that easy. I rode in a flat race at York one day, jump jockey's flat race over 5 furlongs, and got in the stalls on this horse, and it had a hood on, and I had to take the hood off, and its hood was wrapped round the bridle, and it was rocking in the stalls, and yeah, I'm not so sure I enjoyed that too much. I'd rather point a nice horse down over 5 fences than go in the stalls again, because there's no getting away from it when he's trying to get his head under the bottom and you don't know what you're doing. KAUTO Star's second Gold Cup when he came back, and Ruby won on him. That was the one that sticks in my mind. An amazing day, and I love watching it now. I was a KAUTO Star man, I think. It's probably because I was such a Ruby fan, but look, DENMAN was an absolute tank as well, wasn't he? But no, I was definitely a KAUTO Star man. Gold Cup. I'd love to win the Gold Cup. I would have probably been sort of 16. I think I rode the Greatwood Hurdle on a Saturday for Paul Nicholls, and then I had something like 7 favourites the next week, and 6 of them finished second. They're all like odds-on shots. 6 of them finished second, and one of them finished down the field somewhere as well. And I remember I got grilled every single day by various different trainers and people, and I thought, well, I'm not sure this is for me really. But I remember my dad said to me that evening, he said, don't worry about it. As long as you're doing your best, you're doing your best. He said, I don't really want you to ride those bloody horses anyway, so come on back. And I thought, do you know what, you're right. So from there on, as long as I did my best, I knew, you know, there's moments, you know, where, you know, I rode top of the game last year in the I think it was the KAUTO Star or something like that, round Campton. He got beaten in Grade 1. I had a fair roasting off the boss, and you know, 25 minutes later you're walking in, you've won the King George, and you're brilliant again. So I don't think you can ever let it get to you, because racing is such a great leveller. You know, one minute you've ridden a big win, and the next minute you're on the floor. So yeah, ever since that sort of week when I was 16, and I thought, I'm not really sure this is for me. I was finding it a bit hard, but I suppose when you're 16, there's a lot of pressure in it, going to riding big races, and you know, I was turning up in the races with 2 sort of real good rides off the back of riding a Greatwood Hurdle winner, and you think it's easy, and then obviously it gets very difficult, and just those couple of words from my dad probably sorted me out. To stay in one piece to start with, and then from there onwards, I'd love to win the Gold Cup. I'd love to go close in the Grand National if I could, and then I suppose the third one would be to try and be champion jockey if the opportunity came about. What, after top of the game? No, that was in the paddock straight after. You know, at the end of the day, he wants it so much, doesn't he? He's so passionate. He's trying so hard. He's probably, you know, he's got to let his anger out on someone, hasn't he? So unfortunately, it was me at that time. But you know, he's at the end of the day, he wants it so bad. So you gotta take it on the chin, and you know, I don't worry about it. I go out and try and prove him wrong in the next, and thankfully that's what happened. And you know, it's just how it is. If you let it get to you, then I think if you're under pressure, you're going to ride a lot worse.